And we're back, Montrose TV Season 2, Episode 1, with none other than the Mayor of Pickering. Really excited about this guest. Please introduce yourself again.
Great. Well, thank you, Nick, for including me today. My name's Kevin Ash. I'm the Mayor of the City of Pickering, 5th Mayor of the city. But not the first Mayor Ash. My dad was the first mayor in 1974, and here I am 50 years later, honored to serve with the same chain of office. So I'm excited about what's happening in our city. I'm proud of what we've done since I become mayor, but I'm really excited about the future.
Yeah, and it's been 2 years since we did this, and at that time you were councillor, and now you took on this whole new role, right? There's a lot of changes that have happened, lots, So what changed from city councillor to city mayor?
Well, I was in the business. I had a business life outside of being on council. Very successful insurance executive for 30-something years. Now this is a full-time gig, more than a full-time gig. And I'm really enjoying it. I try and get to as many events as I can, often 2 or 3 a day, a dozen or so every week, and they keep me busy on the weekends as well. So I'm really happy that I've made the decision to run for mayor. I'm enjoying my time as mayor. We have a new council, 3 new members of council, so that's brought a new energy, not without its challenges of that new energy, because I think you got to harness it the right way to move things along and make our city a better place. And I'm really excited about the future. We have made some important decisions about redeveloping our downtown. We've made some decisions about recreation facilities. We're going to be building our first rec center in over 40 years, largest program in our city's history in Seaton. So there's a lot happening. And, we just got our quarterly check from the casino, $5.5 million. It's going fantastic. And there's going to be new excitement there as well as the Porsche experience opens hopefully later this year, Launchpad Golf hopefully in the next 12 months as well. So a lot happening. Want people not only to live here and to play here, but I want them to work here, which is really what I'm really excited about, and that's job creation.
Yeah, that's, and you said it, and I remember this quote you told me last time you were here. The city of Pickering is at a crossroads, right? And I remember telling that to a lot of people, is that we either stay in this type of kind of thing, or you seem to have this vision of what Pickering, I guess, could be or should be. You talked about challenges. So what holds it back from achieving those goals or the kind of vision that you have?
Well, I think what holds us back is people don't like change. And that's not just a Pickering phenomena, that's a human nature phenomenon. And if there's anyone that would have the feeling about we got to remain a small town, it's a guy like me who's been here all my life. I was here, in Bay Ridge as I went elementary school at Holy Redeemer on Liverpool Road. And, when I was growing up, the Loblaws was the TP Drive-In and the rec center was the Odeon Drive-In. So I know what's happened to our city, but I can see its potential as well. So I really think that Pickering's a great place to live, and we're getting more and more people here, both relocating from often Toronto or Scarborough, but also new Canadians. We have a influx of new Canadians that I think is great. We're very welcoming here, very diverse community, and I think Pickering's kind of on the map now. And we're growing up. We're not a sleepy town anymore. We're 110,000 people. We're going to be 150,000 in the next 15 years or so, and growing after that. And we have different places of growth. We have along our transit corridor, which is the GO train and Kingston Road, intensification. We're creating a downtown, which I'd like to talk about in a minute. We have the new community of Seaton, which is going to be 50,000 people or so over the course of the next 20 years. And we're awaiting approval of from the provincial government of the new official plan for the region, which would identify a new urban area, and that would be Northeast Pickering, because we need not only places for people to live, but places to work, and that would identify in Northeast Pickering about 10,000 jobs. So I think the way we make Pickering more whole is make them work closer to home, so that we're not soulless, we're not getting on the GO train every day, we're not commuting for 2 hours, and our residents can be part of the community.
Yeah, and like I see that with a lot of developed communities, kind of areas. They have this kind of downtown where everybody kind of gathers, right? You know, I was in Mexico in Merida, and they have this like center where people seem to kind of go to. And is that what's gonna happen to like the Pickering Town Center? I see it kind of cleared out.
Pickering Town Center was purchased. It's now called the Shops at Pickering City Center, by the way. Was purchased by Center Court, and they're doing a 55-acre master plan community. And the first 2 towers are residential, and they've sold number 1 in the first week. Condo sales, as you know, are a bit of a challenge right now, so they're moving through to building number 2, and they hope to break ground later this year. But equally important to that development is when a development occurs, the developer has to give the city 5% of the land mass, and in this case we got 10% of the land mass. And we're going to be building an urban center there, similar to Dundas Square and Nathan Phillips Square, where we're going to have a water feature and a refrigerated rink in the wintertime. And that's right directly across from City Hall, which is now a parking lot. It'll be a gathering place where you can have Christmas markets or farmers markets. We can dream big and have watch parties for the Leafs and the Stanley Cup. Those types of things. So it'll be a gathering place. And the restaurants around the Pickering City Center, we have the cinema there, and I think it'll be a great addition. And the people living there will bring new life to the mall. The Shops at Pickering City Center. You know, we opened JD Sports. They just announced Lululemon. Our mall's been struggling for a little while, and we need new energy. And I think having 5,000 to 10,000 residents in close proximity will make it a better value proposition for new retailers. And I'm excited about the future.
Yeah, like you said it there, and it's tough because I feel like we are in a recession and business owners are kind of weary. But what I've been kind of hearing and seeing is that we have a lot of people outside of Pickering coming into Pickering to spend time here. I saw the other day, there was a post for the lady on Liverpool Road saying, we're getting people from Oshawa coming to here as, let's go spend the day in Pickering, right? And to kind of see that as a business owner, you know what, that foot traffic, it's what matters. You go to Miami, LA, all these places, you get a lot of foot traffic. So, what other thing, like me as an entrepreneur, I look at my other entrepreneur friends, they rather, mass exodus happening. What are we gonna do to retain these entrepreneurs and these kind of spirit thinkers in our city?
Well, I think we have to have a balance of businesses here. I go after the big guys to locate here in Pickering, and we're gonna have some really good announcements in the coming months about some successes there. But we do have along our innovation corridor, which is along the 407, FGF Foods, which is Weston Foods. They're a technology company that bakes, going to be 5,000 employees. But the lifeline and lifeblood of any economy is small business and entrepreneurs and the supply chain that moves from that. So I think it's important for government to kind of support them, but get out of the way.
Yeah.
Get rid of red tape. Let them be entrepreneurs. That's what they want to do. They want to create wealth. They want to create reinvest capital. So let's get out of the way and cut the red tape. The other thing is we have a very important. People are struggling on affordability, so we gotta set the right climate for people to have some more comfort level. I'm pleased that the government, the Bank of Canada rate went down yesterday, a quarter point. We gotta start recharging our housing market, our condo market, and the interest rates are a problem. Also for small businesses who have to, look after their line of credit. I know you and I were just chatting about the cost of inventory and what you got to cover as an entrepreneur. So, a quarter point here, quarter point there adds to the value proposition.
Yeah, it does. There is a lot of red tape, a lot of regulations, and I think what really helped us out as small businesses during the time of COVID, our premier supported. Well, not us because we were a bit after, but the government of Canada. Wages were covered, rent was covered. What do you think about that? Is that what's holding us back? Because some people think, okay, now we're going to socialist maybe with this universal basic income. Like, is stimulating the economy, does that make a difference in your eyes, or should it kind of be more like a, best one survives to reap the benefits type of thing?
Well, I actually think you got to create wealth before you can redistribute it.
Right.
So I don't think that we necessarily have to be a nanny state, but we have to have a safety net for people. So I want people to have the conditions to succeed on their own, and if they can't succeed, that there's a safety net to give people the protection they need. We have tremendous issues here in our province, in our country, with addiction, mental health, homelessness, refugees, and I think that's the role of government to kind of help out and give a hand up, not a handout. But for the regular folk that just wants to go to work and make a living, let's make it easier for them. Let's make it easier for them.
Yeah, more jobs. I think you've been a huge proponent of jobs. And I see it here, hiring staff, things like that, it goes a long way, right? And aside from, I guess, the jobs recession, we also have a housing kind of issue. I mean, what do you think, a lot of people talk about housing is the issue, but what are some like the key points you think that are creating that? And then how do we even address those and fix those kind of things in your eyes?
Well, the housing crisis is real. I have a 32-year-old daughter and a 29-year-old son and a 32-year-old daughter. One lives at home with us, with our granddaughter. The other two live together in a rental house. The idea of home ownership is a dream that many won't achieve anymore. So we have to get that back. And I think the way we get that back is by having higher levels of supply and choice. People often say that condos I don't want condos. Well, the reality is this: condos are the entry place in the marketplace for young people, and they're also the exit point for seniors who have that big house that don't want to look after it anymore, don't want to have the property taxes, but want to stay close, connected to their community where they have friends, family, doctor, lawyer, dry cleaner, all that kind of stuff. So people often talk negatively about condos, but I think they're an important part of that housing mix. But we have to look at different ways. I'm told from some of my realtor friends, that these bungalows go right off the market because that's what people want. But cost of land is so expensive. The cost to build is so expensive. The taxes and development charges are so expensive. So we have to look at a new way. And but housing supply, I think, is important. And I think the current market that we're in, The interest rates has been a real challenge. The market's slowed down, but I think as we get more supply, hopefully that'll loosen some people's decision points.
Yeah, and you know what I feel like it's a lot of this, right? You got the federals going this way, you got the province going this way, now back to the municipality and saying, okay, well, we need help, and it's all going like that. And then municipalities, they have to deal with a lot of procedures. I know the City of Pickering does a really good job at the development, but if I'm, somebody who wants to get into building or something, let's say I see this really nice piece of land up in North Pickering. I want to get on it, I want to build. What's the best way of doing that? Like, how do we even go about building more houses for people?
Well, I think government, and in particular, the city government, has to be lean and mean and pivot and be able to adjust. I really think that COVID's done couple of good things. One, it's changed our way of doing business in terms of electronic submission of applications and electronic transfer of permit fees and a timely review of things. But we need almost like a concierge service so that people can come in and get things done and make it one-stop shop type thing. Similar here at Montrose Cannabis, where one shop stop. So I really think government's got to be more efficient and quicker, because there was a great movie, Wall Street, and Gord Gecko was the character, and he said money never sleeps and capital walks. So I think you gotta be able to adjust and be able to do things like that.
The other thing that I noticed too is that a lot of people who get into the housing market, there's different stages. And when they reach a certain stage, it's like, oh, I have this license to build here, I'm gonna sell that. Then that person buys it. Oh, I have this now, I'm at this stage, I'm gonna sell this stage for that. And is that what's contributing to this kind of?
Yeah, absolutely true. I mean, people buy a condo when they're single or a young couple, and then they need a smaller house when they have a kid, and then they need, a bigger house when they got 2 kids, and then they, are owning a business and want to get an executive home and all that stuff. So it's true, and getting equity in your house is so important. Right?
Yeah. And with the interest rates coming down too, even taking that equity, which is, that's how I started my little journey. I was a 21-year-old, bought my place in Bay Ridge is right. $178K. Yeah. I had a guy walk into TD where I was working, Nicky, we should get a rental. And for me, rentals are good because I had 4 people renting out, 3 upstairs and 1 in the basement, right? And that.
What street was it?
Radom 1235.
Oh yeah.
1235, yeah. So it's.
So a townhouse.
A townhouse, yeah, 178, right? And at the time, people, oh, that's not good. What's gonna happen with the tenants if they don't pay you? What happens if you can't pay your mortgage? All these things, right? And the people who dive in for those opportunities, they're gonna reap the benefits and rewards.
So that 178 is now 7 something, right?
Something like that. Yeah. I sold it back 2 years ago at 5, and I heard that it went up to 7 at one point, And yeah, it's like taking that opportunity. And one thing I noticed, and I'm proud to say, hey, I've been in Durham since '97. I went to university in Oshawa, lived in Ajax, own a property in Pickering, and now have businesses in Pickering too. Is that once I feel like you live in part of the community and part of the land, you meet people, and then your business will thrive. A lot of people, I feel like they dive to somewhere else, or they're like, you know what, I'm done with Pickering, I'm gonna go here. Or I'm done with Ontario or Canada, I'm gonna go to Miami or Florida now. And once you leave that, I feel like you have to start all over again, right? And I'm living proof that if you stay in your community, you reap the benefits. And what's huge is that, let's say Atlanta during, slavery days, everybody who lived there when slavery was abolished, the people who lived on that land, they have the most wealth in America, all the blacks, right? So, how do you feel about, what do we got to do to keep the wealth in here? I know you touched upon, let's get more jobs, build more stuff, but what else can we do to kind of, let's live off this kind of area?
Well, I think a lot of people, at their end of their working career, their biggest asset is their pension or their home. And if they don't have enough pension, it's a home. So they often sell their home and move to for $1 million and move to Picton for 500,000 or Coburg or whatever, right? That's the reality. It's absolute reality. And that's never how our parents grew up, because the house wasn't, you know, it was an asset, but it wasn't like we're all millionaires.
Yeah. You know what? And I feel like you can't just create a new area to say, you know what, let's get super low income housing here, because that creates problems.
Yeah, you don't want to ghettoize. You want to have a mix,
Yeah.
and you want to have a mix of incomes as well, so that it's integrated and supportive. So.
Yeah. The other thing I want to kind of touch on is homelessness.
Yeah.
You know, Ajax has a problem, Oshawa has a problem, Pickering doesn't. But tell me more about that. Like, how did that happen, and how's that going to play out in the future?
Affordability is a huge issue. We do have a modest issue with homelessness and people facing housing insecurity in our city. We do have a great group called DARS, which every Wednesday hosts a lunch at our central library. Every Thursday at Peace Lutheran Church has a dinner, and then has a warming center and a cooling center in those days where we need them. We offer through the city and through DARS shower programs, so people that don't have access to shelter can at least have the necessities of life in terms of having a hot shower. So there is an issue here in our city. We are a very affluent community, but that doesn't mean there are not people suffering. You go just around the corner here to the food bank on Tuesday and Fridays, and you'll see a lineup down the road. And that's not only people that are poor, but people that are seniors, people that are new to our country, either immigrants or asylum seekers or refugees that need a hand up. And our food bank here is doing tremendous work. But there's tremendous need as well. So Pickering has stepped up. We have funded, DARS has a 7-bedroom home for people up on the 3rd concession on Whites Road, that now 7 people that didn't have a house are now living under one house. And we use some casino revenue monies to do that. We also paid the rent with casino monies for the food bank for the entire year, so that any monies that come in go directly to purchasing food, milk, egg. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's a real dilemma that when you have services, it draws more homeless. You see it in the shelter system that happens in Ajax, the new shelter in Whitby, and obviously in Oshawa, where the biggest problem is. It's because the success breeds more clients. So Pickering's got a different example. Ours is kind of more hidden, but it's there, and we've got to be aware of it. And I think it's something that the property tax base was never designed to be the safety net for homelessness and addiction, but in fact it has been more recently. And I think the federal government, who has complete control over our refugee, immigration, and asylum seekers' decisions, has to be a more full partner in regards to funding that, because the property tax base doesn't have the capacity to do that.
Yeah, and it's good that you kind of mentioned that, right? You know, I never really thought about, okay, part of the property tax that we all pay as citizens, that goes towards that, right?
But it shouldn't.
But it shouldn't.
It shouldn't go to, we pay sales tax and income tax to the federal and provincial government to pay for those things that they should be paying for. The property tax base should be paying for your fire truck, your police, your ambulance, your garbage pickup, your library, your parks, et cetera, et cetera. It shouldn't be paying for social services, shouldn't be paying for hospitals, it should not be paying for mental health supports or addiction or shelters or the like. And in reality, it is.
How much of a percentage do you think? Just how much money of prop tax goes towards stuff that we shouldn't pay for?
Well, I know in the region, we spent over $12 million on asylum seekers in the past 12 months. Again, completely made decisions by the federal government and the regional taxpayer, rather than the city taxpayer, but I collect the regional taxes of the region and give it away. So if you pay me $100 in taxes, I only get 31 cents. 55 cents goes to the region, and then about 15 cents or so go to the province for education. So I collect the money and get all the blame, but I only get 31 cents in the dollar.
And I guess, but you do have, I don't want to call it Good Samaritans, just opened up the new hospital by
Jerry Cogburn Health Center.
Yeah, so out of the kindness of the heart, is that something that someone partners with the city and they say, you know what, let's fund this?
Yeah, Jerry Cogburn was a great community leader and put in several $1 million there. The proceeds of the Mayor's Gala went there this year.
Nice.
Because Pickering needs a healthcare facility. We need a hospital in my view, but this is kind of a step forward in terms of having a healthcare facility in our city that can do medical procedures and give primary care. And it's a in-between step in terms of when we get our own hospital at some point in the future. But yeah, Jerry Cogburn was a great. He gave money to Salvation Army. We lost Jerry a couple of years ago, but his legacy lives on.
Yeah, Deer Creek, Jerry. So, I grew up in Ajax, right? Went to school with his granddaughter, and it's insane. We really need these people, but I feel I'm very optimistic about the future, right? There's a lot of doom and gloom, a lot of pessimism out there, and I started really having that mind shift because businesses go in cycles. We all know that. We're in a little bit of a recession now, but the outlook for the future of this in the next, let's say, 10, 15, 20 years, how do you see Pickering evolving?
Well, I think Pickering has a bright future. I think one of the key things that happened in 2024 happened on January 30th. It was a cold day on Lake Ontario when the government announced the refurb of Pickering Nuclear Station.
Yeah.
Pickering Nuclear Station generates 14% of all electricity across the province, and it's going to bring in 11,000 construction jobs for the next 7 years. It's going to add billions of GDP. And you go up and down Brock Road, which we're on right now, and you'll see all the supply chains, businesses that support OPG, and they've got a new lease on life. And that's been in our community for 50 years, and it's going to be in our community for another generation. And I think that's good. Durham's the clean energy capital of Canada, and with nuclear energy being produced here in Pickering as well as in Darlington. So I think that's a real positive for us. And I think, again, we've got some hopefully good positive announcement coming about new jobs and new manufacturing on our 407 corridor called the Innovation Corridor in the coming months. And I think that's a key thing about the jobs. And of course, Pickering's going to boom in terms of housing over the next 2 decades or so. And I'm excited about its future. And I'm really excited about having a downtown. We don't have a downtown.
We need that cool place.
Yeah.
I want to bring my 2 boys and let's go hang out.
Yeah. Now, one other thing, you talked about visitors coming to Pickering and spending the day.
Yeah.
They're often spending it, if not at the casino, at our beautiful waterfront.
Yes.
And we kicked off a few weeks ago a free waterfront shuttle. So every weekend from 10 in the morning till 8 p.m., there's free bus from Pickering shops at Pickering Center, a route down to the base of Liverpool Road. You don't need to take the car down there. You go have your.
Is that Durham Region Transit?
Durham Region Transit,
Right on.
yeah.
Nice,
Route
yeah.
100.
Route 100.
Yeah,
Durham
you can
Region
get
Transit,
information on the waterfront shuttle on pickering.ca. It's an exciting project. We're going to be spending money on the East Shore. We've completed most of the work on the West Shore,
yeah.
and it's fantastically done. It re-energized the area, and the infrastructure is going to protect the natural environment.
I'm super excited, and if it's one thing you got to let the audience know as the mayor of Pickering, now is the time. What is it? What do you want to tell them?
Well, I'm not sure when this will be telecast or broadcast or podcast. I'm not sure the terminology. Today happens to be almost the end of July. The Olympics are kicking off, and we have 5 athletes from Pickering in the Olympics, so I'm going to wish them well and cheer them on. But my door is always open. I try and have a presence on social media. I'm out and about town, and I look forward for comments. If people want to email me at mayor@pickering.ca, they can follow me on Twitter or X as we call it, Instagram, Facebook. I love my city. I love going to events. I love talking to people, and I invite them to reach out because just like you said, come talk to me, here I am. So
there you guys have it. The greatest city, the greatest mayor, City of Pickering, you guys, Kevin Ash. Thank you.
appreciate it.